a quick Temu butterfly haul, and then we'll use some of them in the projects of this video. So starting off, we have this 5-piece package of 8.6-inch butterfly ornaments. They actually have these little metal things on the wings so you can like make them stay up or stay down. And they also come with these little metal stakes, I guess. But they fit right into a little notch on the underside of the butterfly. Now we have the 9.8-inch metal butterfly wall decor. It was $4.49. The prices are what they were when I ordered them. You may find a sale on some of them. I got these 10-piece bag of butterfly beads. They come in various colors. They're $1.99 for each 10 bead bag. I got these 5 or 9 set of glowing double wing butterflies with adhesive backs. It's just like one of those things that you peel off and stick, so it's not super adhesive. It was $3.99 for my little box, and when I turn it on, it flashes red, blue, red, blue. I got these 500 butterfly stickers. It's like on a roll, like a piece of tape, and those were only $2.29. And look at all the variety there. Okay, next is 30 sheets of butterfly scrapbook paper for $1.99. I didn't see anywhere if they said what size these are. They're a little bit less than 4x6. So they fit in a 4x6 frame, but there's like the smallest little bit that isn't completely covered. See, I'm measuring it just to make sure. And so if you're framing it like I end up doing, you have to put something behind it to account for the white space. And I just wanted to show you some of the different images. They're very pretty and sweet and soft and vintage. Unlike a lot of the butterflies in this haul that are super bright. So this was a nice change. Okay. We have butterflies for garden, yard, planter, colorful, whimsical for $1.79. These come on the little stakes with the wings pointing up, but you can flatten them if you want. And I'm probably going to put a bunch of these in some pots on my porch and maybe outside, because they say a lot of these are wet-proof, like rain-proof. And I'm just showing you some of the different patterns and colors here. All right, these are 12 pieces of butterfly wall decor 3D stickers, and they were only $1.39. I got 2 different packages. The Temu description says with magnets, but what they gave me is just some little adhesive dots. And these were super bright, so I decided to boil them in some old coffee and see if it changed anything, so I could tell you guys about it. And I boiled it for a good couple minutes, and the paper got really soft, so like when I touched it, it was just like super soft, you know, like fabric or something. But as soon as I turned the heat off, they stiffened right back up again. So you want to keep them flat after they've been hot, because I find if you don't, they curl up, and I'll show you that in just a second. Because I really like the size of these. I can see myself using these more than any of the other ones. And I'm just showing you the difference here. So the multicolored butterfly was boiling coffee, and the blue one wasn't. You can hardly tell the difference. The purple one was boiled in coffee, the yellow one wasn't. Pink one was boiled in coffee and the yellow one wasn't. And it's more like if you touch it, the paper feels softer, and it's got a little bit of curl on the edges. For me, that's the most difference I noted. But there's those little adhesive dots, and let's get to crafting. This video is part of the Summer Days open playlist, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it after the first project. first project is a butterfly door hanger. I'm going to make this using the metal butterfly from the Temu butterfly haul. And it's actually pretty good size. It takes up almost the whole charger. So I was trying to do a redo of a butterfly door hanger I made like 3 years ago. But that one had the word home on it, and I just did not have room for a word on this one. So we're just going to do a bunch of butterflies and a bunch of flowers. Using a charger for a door hanger can be a little bit tricky because there's a lot of decorative space on the edges and not so much flat space in the middle. The cool thing about using a charger is you can drill holes in them like really easy. So I'm going to use my drill and make some holes for a hanging cord. And you'll notice I have to do it twice because the first drill bit was just a little bit too skinny. And I will show you if you have trouble getting your hanging cord through your holes. There's a couple little tricks. One trick is you can just push through as much as you can and then grab it on the back with a pair of pliers. But you can also use painter's tape and wrap the end with painter's tape. And I'll show you in just a second how you do that. So I was able to get the first one pulled through, and I just had to smooth out the rope a little bit. Just tie a knot on the back and we're good to go on that side. This side was a little bit more difficult. Oh, I guess I did get it okay. Oh no, here we go. Okay. So I wrapped it with the blue painter's tape, and you notice me trimming the tape. And once I have it trimmed, I try and do it on an angle so that it comes to a point at the very end. And then when I poke through, I kind of twist it a little bit, and it goes through, you know, without a hitch. And I just tie a knot on the back and trim off the painter's tape. So this sort of gives me like a home base. This sort of helps me decide where everything's going to be. So I was going to attach the butterfly to the charger with these tumbling tower blocks, but I remember they had those little metal hangers on the back. So I'm actually going to drill some more holes here, and I'm just using the tumbling tower blocks to guide me. I'm going to just use some twine here, and I'm going to thread the twine through the little hanging hook there. And then I'm going to push both ends through the hole that I just drilled. And I'm going to pull it nice and tight on the back and just tie a bunch of different kinds of knots just to get a big knot that's not going to pull through. And then I'll do the other exactly the same. And I wanted it on an angle because my original door hanger was on an angle and I liked how it looked. I just don't have room for any words on it. My original butterfly door hanger had the word home on it, but it just doesn't fit on this one. So I went back and forth about how to do the flowers. These flowers are pretty easy to hot glue, so I went ahead and got them on there as kind of like a base. Now I chose 3 roses, and they're actually 3 different colors, even though they look very close. It's actually like a pink, a lighter pink, and a white. But after I did them, it just looked too bunchy. And I ended up taking one of the roses out and just hot gluing something in. But I used pipe cleaners to attach these flowers. And you saw me wrapping twine around them to make a little swag or a little bouquet. And then I attached them to the charger using green pipe cleaners, which is cool. I don't have to worry about the hot glue, but when I wanted to take one off, I actually had to trim it off using my wire cutters. Then when I thought it was done, I went ahead and put some extra butterflies on. I had made a bow just using 2 loops and an extra piece for the tails. And I just tied all 3 pieces together and then hot glued it to the middle top of the charger. Then I picked out some butterflies that I thought went nicely with the colors that were already there. I'm trying to make them random, but at the same time not like messy looking. Jumping in with a little bit more information about the playlist. Our hosts are Amanda from 6 Kids and a Glue Gun and Katie from Lady Red Crafting. This month's guest host is GINA from East Coast Mummy. Their channel links as well as a link to this playlist will be in my description box below. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the video. This next project is a vintage framed butterfly. It's almost a hack rather than a craft because I couldn't do what I wanted to do. So here is 3 different 4x6 frames, and since the paper is almost 4x6, that's the size frame we're going to use. Now originally I wanted to use the butterfly stickers and put them, randomly on the image, paint over them, and then pull them up like you would with Cricut. But it wasn't working. I tried it twice, doing it different ways, and then gave up. So what I decided to do is just take this made-up paint with some Rust-Oleum Linen White chalk paint, and a couple other different paints sort of just mixed into it to make this vintagey, purplish, burnt umber kind of paint. And then I dabbed it on like you saw with the sponge dabber. And then I took a small paintbrush and put Mod Podge just on the butterfly part of it. I thought it would make the butterfly pop, which is why I dab painted the background, to just sort of mute it and make the butterfly be the star. I went ahead and dried everything before I handled it again. And then I also took my Hippo heat press and just kind of flattened the paper nice so it would sit into the frame well. And then I tried just popping it in with the piece of paper that was already in there, but you could see the white on the top and the bottom. So I took the dabber that I used and I dabbed paint along all the edges of the piece of paper that goes underneath it. And I just dabbed out the white. And I went ahead and did the sides as well. This helps the painted parts of the image blend into the back piece of paper, so we won't see those little strip of white. And again, I dried it before I handled it, and this looks much, much better. I decided not to use any tape. I thought about it, but I decided just to try and use my hands to get it in a good position. And then once I was happy, I went ahead and pulled all the little tags down, and better look at the final reveal. Okay, final project of this video is a lemons and butterflies image. And I'm going to use my butterfly beads on this one. This is the most recent Truckateur stencil of the month. I'm in the little club. It's like 20 and change a month to get this size stencil, and 3 single-use packets of chalk paste. However, I use my chalk paste at least twice, if not 3 times. So for this stencil, you cut it in half and you use the big lemons first, and then the embellishments on top of that. So I'm kneading the packets first, and when they feel good and soft, I go ahead and cut off the bottom, not the top. I cut off the bottom so it's easier to see the color of the packets when I save them. Like, usually put them in like a little plastic baggie, and it's much easier if you keep the whole thing of color on there. So I'm starting with the lemons. Those are the biggest. It made sense to start with those first. But you want to like lift up, you know, if you're going to be doing it for a few minutes, you want to lift up every so often so the stencil doesn't start to dry and get clogged. And that's when you lift up a whole bunch of the paste, because it'll get stuck in the stencil. So if you lift it up like that, you sort of release the paste onto your backing, and you just get a much better result. In next with the green, and this the way this stencil works is the first stencil was supposed to be the lemon yellow with the green, and then the second stencil was supposed to be just this mango-y color. But look at how beautiful this is. I almost stopped. It was just so perfect. And I'm like, you know what? It's not about being perfect, and I really wanted to see how the other color would get on there. You know, it's about creating an interesting image. At least in my mind it is. So I decided, instead of doing all of that mango orangey color, I would add a little bit more green, because some of the parts of this stencil had leaves. So it made sense to me to do the leaves green. I do think I did a little too much green, but you know, I'm not gonna be mad about it. I'm not mad. But I do kind of wish I did maybe half the amount of green. And here I am releasing the stencil on the top and the bottom. And then I'm coming in with that little mango color, which is super pretty. That's one of the reasons why I even bothered doing the second stencil. So the mango is supposed to do like add texture to the lemons. But oh no, look at the top lemons. They pulled the chalk paste off. And I even dried it with my heat gun, and still pulled off some of the chalk paste. So I could have done it again, or I could have just washed off those top ones, but I just decided to try and fill it in to the best of my ability. So that's what you see me doing with the little paintbrush. And I do think I was able to get it more pleasant looking. Let's say that. Now there's my butterfly beads, and I just created a random pattern. I used the blue, yellow, and white, but you'll see the hanging string was just too big. It looked too big and bulky. So I'm going ahead and pushing the twine they gave me and tying a knot in the back like I did in the previous projects. But it just wasn't happening for me. So I cut the string in the middle and took off a couple beads and then tied a knot there. And better look at the final reveal.